Hello guys, good morning and good evening who are watching this video in the evening. Today I'm going to make this video related to how you find your Fahrschule. If you are in Germany, for example, then Fahrschule basically known as your driving school. It is very important, to consider a few points when you are looking for your Fahrschule, as this is the base of your, of course, like driving class, and everyone knows that in Germany it's very expensive. So there are 5 points basically I have shortlisted as per my experience, which I personally feel that it's very important. And when I started my driving classes, I didn't get any information related to these 5 points. I feel these are very important. Okay, so first point is, I would say, do not follow the Google ratings of your driving school. So generally, like whenever it happens or whenever it comes to our mind to find a Fahrschule, we first thing we generally do is we search on Google and check the rating and reviews or something. So maybe in few cases the ratings are good, but I found like sometime it's overhyped, and sometime they buy these ratings, to make it 4.9 to make it 5. So I would strongly recommend that, like, do not follow these ratings blindly. Rather than, you can check with someone, or if you find these ratings are good, go and experience, ask your questions, your doubts, by directly going or visiting them, right? It's very important, and it means a lot. Second point is, I would say, check the history of the Fahrschule. For example, I mean, if you shortlisted 2 or 3 Fahrschule in your area, then you have to see that how old they are. So majorly how it happened, I'll tell you. So the old Farshules are basically, like, they don't run on like time equals to money business. For example, they know, how to instruct the new students, for example, or who are basically overseas, who came from overseas and settling down in Germany. And for them, they know that, like, what are the changes are required, and they are very mature, I think. So like, what I'm trying to say is, check for the history of the Fahrschule. If they are good, their history is good, and they are pretty old, then you can trust, you can trust them. Then I would say the third point I would like to say is, a check for, so once you clear your theory, of course, and then you have to check for the practical, like driver detail. For example, when I say practical driver detail, means your instructor, for example. So your instructor would be very important here. So there are, so you maybe ask your friend, like, okay, from where he has done, or maybe you ask in your community that. So I would say, take a reference, of, like, from your friend or any community, and then believe in that. Because there are few cases, like, when you go to Fahrschule says, oh, my this instructor is really good, but in reality you end up spending a lot of money because it's very expensive. And at the same time, a few instructors are very aggressive, like, if like, maybe you are new and you don't know driving, or maybe you're doing it first time. I mean, if you do like same mistake repeatedly, they generally feel, they generally feel, like, so angry and so pissed from you. So I think it's very important that you can take a reference from your friends, your community, in order to know that, yes, like, this instructor is very patient, or he has patience, and he is good, or blah blah blah, and it will be really help you, right? And fourth point, I would say, the language support. I think, I mean, if you are settling from overseas, of course, it's very important for you, maybe, to get a support in English language. I mean, there are few schools, of course, in all areas in Germany that supports English language, but I would strongly recommend that, check for these schools, specifically, though it is very difficult to, like, get the admission. And specifically, if you're looking for the English, don't go for asking them that I want specifically the English teacher. They said, I mean, if you could provide an, like, sort of, like, mixed support. Because, like, reason I'm saying that, you're practical, that has to be in Deutsch language. And if you get a mix of it, for example, in few cases maybe you need some understanding, like deep understanding of few concept of driving. In that case, your instructor like will be able to tell you about your like instruction in English, for example, and overall he can address you in Deutsch, right? So check for these like language support school. And fifth point, I would say that the frequency of your classes. So ask your instructor that how many classes he would take for a week, for example, uh, because I mean, there are, I have seen, I mean, as per my experience, there are few schools having one class in a week and then another class in the next week. It doesn't make any sense, honestly, because you will repeat mistakes because the gap like between your classes are too much. So in my opinion, go ahead and like force them to take as many as like classes they can take in a week or something like that, so that it will register in your mind, and you learn basically fast and you finish it fast. So these are the points are like very important. I think few minor points, I mean, you can consider that what is their per hour cost, or what is their contract obligation, for example. I mean, and you can check how much they had, like they want for registration, for example. So you can compare these like with the different Fahrschule, and like you can choose your best Fahrschule. Like, yeah, like these are my points which I personally feel that everyone should consider, like if they are really looking for the best Fahrschule for their, of course, for their driving license for Führerschein. If you have any question related to your driving school, specifically in Germany, you can write me in comments, and I probably will answer you, yeah, as soon as I can. Yeah, thank you so much, guys. I wish you a good luck for your driving school.